Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to teach you a movement technique that's going to allow you to wall bounce consistently after a super glide. This is going to make your super glides extra spicy. This technique can be used both on console and PC. For the advanced techniques that I show later in the video, they're going to be specific to PC, but console players can get a little creative to make some of it still work on console. I know you console players gotta eat too. You can see some examples of this technique since the start of the video. What you're seeing on screen is me combining two techniques together. I'm using a technique called U-bounce in conjunction with superglides. This allows you to consistently wall bounce after superglides. This technique is not new, but is definitely underrated. The U-bounce technique was discovered years ago by Faide Slide, and Peaceeeee built upon it using superglides. My goal for this video is to shed light on this underrated technique. Also, I do build on this technique by combining it with my fake backward superglide technique that I discovered a while back. So if you already know about this technique, I will still stick around to the end. Let's get started. In order to do these techniques, you need to know how to do a U-bounce and a super glide. Let's start off by learning a U-bounce. I'm not going to go into super detail in a U-bounce because Faide Slide already made an awesome video about it. Go check it out in the description below. So what is a U-bounce? Basically, a U-bounce is when you attach yourself to a wall, you allow yourself to fall for a bit, and then you climb back up, making a U, and then you jump off the wall to get a wall bounce. This allows you to wall bounce consistently in odd places you wouldn't be able to wall bounce traditionally. Here are some places you can practice the U-bounce in the firing range. Practice here by jumping on this wall and trying to get the U-bounce. If you do not get the wall bounce, you won't be able to climb back and jump on this beam again. You will fall straight down. So that's how you know if you got the U-bounce or not. U-bounces are super helpful on their own and it's something that you should learn. So if you don't want to use it with these other techniques in this video, it's still something that is super useful and something that you should learn on its own right. Now for the second technique that you need to know to make all this happen is the good old superglide. Everyone's favorite movement tech. Again, I'm not going to go into too much detail on this technique since I already made an awesome guide on how to make them consistently. So go check these videos out if you're still struggling on getting them consistently. They're in the description below. So again, to do a super glide, all you have to do is climb an object, and immediately when the climbing animation is done, you press jump, and then one frame after you press crouch while holding the direction you want to glide towards. This will send you forward or to the side depending on the direction you press. Boom, that is a super glide. Again, if you are struggling with this, I have an in-depth guide in the description below. Okay, now that you know both techniques, let's combine them together, which can be a little difficult at first, but with practice, it is easy to reproduce. Just like mentioned before, you can use U-bounces after super gliding towards the wall to get a consistent wall bounce after, making your super glides more stylish and sometimes super practical. For example, using it to get height really fast in some places. I would recommend practicing this technique on these sandbags in the firing range. All you have to do is super glide towards the wall, and once you attach yourself to the wall, you're going to allow yourself to fall for a bit, and then climb back up and then jump off the wall. The timing can be a little tricky, but after some practice, you'll get it. This works both on console and PC. No tap strafing required. The possibilities with combining these two techniques is truly endless and is up to your imagination and execution. You can even combine your super glides with tap strafes to wall bounce on walls you wouldn't be able to normally reach, or making you way harder to hit. And it makes your super glides extra spicy. But don't worry, console players, I'm going to teach you another super glide technique to help you do some of these U-bounces you see on screen without tap strafing. Combining tap strafing with super glide U-bounces techniques can be very difficult at first, but with practice it becomes second-hand nature in no time. Here's some of the examples I found in the firing range, and I will leave notations down below to help you with your practice. Again, there's so much you can do when you combine all three together. What if you can't tap Strafe? What can you do to make your Superglide U-bounces extra spicy? Well, I got you, console players. No, this is also super useful to PC players as well, so stick around, guys. Like mentioned before, you can super glide in almost every direction, forward, left, or right. When you're super gliding, you need to hold the direction you want to go. For example, in this clip, I'm holding right when super gliding, which launches me to the right side, and then I U-bounce after. On console, you need to be a little bit more creative and thinking outside the box to get these crazy super glide U-bounces as well. But it works out. Okay, now I'm going to teach you a hidden technique that I learned a couple years ago. You are able to do a fake backward super glide without having some sort of movement speed boost while doing the super glide. To do this technique, you want to climb an object at an angle and then turn your camera in the opposite direction you want to go. So in this clip, I'm climbing and turning to the left. Once the climbing animation is over, you super glide while holding back on the controller or S on the keyboard, and this will allow you to super glide straight backwards. This is super helpful in making you super glide in non-conventional ways. When you mantle, you're able to turn your camera and you're also able to mantle things without truly looking at the object directly. This makes you super glide in weird directions. Super useful for both PC and console players. And of course, you can combine this with tap strafing like you see in this clip. You see me climbing and tap strafing and U-bouncing in weird directions, making your movement super insane. Alright guys, before I end the video, there's a couple things I want to mention. One thing is that Horizon's passive, where she's easily able to airstrafe, is super useful with this technique, especially if you're on console. You're able to U-wall bounce and airstrafe right after, making it super useful and making it harder for you to get hit. So play Horizon like always. Horizon's the best. Another thing that I want to mention is that if you try to super glide at certain heights, like for here, you can see the wall is like very close to the ground for me when I'm trying to super glide here. It won't work. If you're unable to U-bounce, you cannot wall bounce after. You're just gonna get like stuck to the wall for a couple seconds and then that's it. So don't try using this technique on this type of height. Alright guys, that's the end of the video. I hope you guys all learned something. Remember, it's gonna take practice to get all these techniques consistently. It's pretty much a very high level techniques that you're seeing in this video, so don't give up. And don't get discouraged if you don't get it on the first 100 times. Don't forget to drop a like or a comment or subscribe if you want to see more movement tech videos and guides. I have a ton of guides on Apex, so don't forget to check my description down below if you want to learn anything else in more detail. You can also check me live at Faide_Uno, and I'll see you guys all in the next one. Peace!